In Europe, stocks were mixed this morning as the coronavirus pandemic and oil prices remained in focus for investors, while promising corporate earnings were offset by harrowing economic data. Let's bring in Chelsea Delany from the Frankfurt Stock Exchange to tell us more about what's happening in the markets today. Good afternoon, Chelsea. So we see a measure of Eurozone economic activity fell to a record low in April as coronavirus lockdowns hit business. How have investors reacted to this?
This did drag the markets down a little bit earlier in the day. We've seen a little bit of a bounce back, but the DAX is still down about 0.1% here in afternoon trading. But what economists are saying is that the data we're seeing is just really unprecedented. It's like the oil price declines we've seen, like the stock declines. It's really making a lot of people rethink what is possible in terms of economic data. We just saw a huge drop in activity across the Eurozone in Germany and France. The declines were this firm described as ferocious. So we are seeing really significant declines. A lot of this is being concentrated in the services sector right now, which had really been very strong throughout Europe before this. So now that restaurants are closed, hotels are closed, all sorts of entertainment businesses are closed, that's really bringing the services sector to a complete standstill. The manufacturing sectors throughout Europe have held up a little bit better. They are also seeing huge declines, but some factories were able to stay open throughout this, and also some are now starting to reopen now that lockdown measures are beginning to ease. But this is just really underscoring what a big recession, what a steep recession the Eurozone is facing. It's estimated to see GDP contract by about 7.5% this year, and all of this data is really compounding all these fears.
Let's talk about some company news now. German automaker Daimler said it expects earnings to fall 70% in the first quarter as the virus outbreak keeps people away from its showrooms. Is there any hope for recovery now that the German economy is reopening?
Well, the first quarter for Daimler and all automakers really came with a lot of unexpected shocks. First, the shutdowns in China, which has been a really big market for a company like Daimler, which sells Mercedes-Benz. The Chinese luxury auto market has just been a huge driver of growth. So that really came as a surprise. And now they've also had to shut down factories here, and as well as the lockdown measures. That's really brought business to a complete halt. So they likely will see a little bit of an uptick throughout the rest of the year. Here in Germany, car dealerships starting Monday in some federal states were able to reopen. But given the economic situation, given the odds of a recession right now, it's really unlikely that they're going to see a complete recovery this year. A lot of people are probably going to shy away from buying something like a Mercedes-Benz. And this really has created a lot of pressure on companies like Daimler. I believe that we're going to see more mergers, that we're going to see companies having to combine to really get through this crisis because the shock is just so enormous.
Eurozone officials are holding a video conference today to discuss the economic response to coronavirus after weeks of heated discussion among EU members. Could there be a breakthrough anytime soon?
I think it's pretty unlikely that we'll see a breakthrough today. These divisions that we're seeing among states in countries in the EU, they sort of have been around for a long time. They really span back to the financial crisis, and they're all being reawakened right now. And EU officials remain quite divided on what the EU response should be. So what we've heard from all EU officials is that they want to have a joint fiscal response. They want to create something like a recovery fund, but how to fund it is still a very divisive issue within the EU. A lot of countries like Spain, France, Italy think that the EU should issue a joint bond. Germany the Netherlands, Austria, these richer northern countries are very against that idea. But we have seen a little bit of progress and a little bit of coming together from these northern countries. Chancellor Angela Merkel today sort of underscored how important it is for the EU to come up with a response, but it's going to take a while for them to sort of hammer out the details. They're saying that they want to get this in place by June, but of course, a lot of countries like Italy and Spain are already really struggling economically with the response to this. So there's really a lot of pressure on these officials right now, and it's all the more difficult because they're doing this over a video call and not in person like they would before. So really a lot of hurdles for these leaders today.
Thank you, Chelsea, for this update. We'll see you again tomorrow.